What is the pettiest thing you've done after the end of a relationship? Like any type of relationship. Because this story lives in infamy among my friends. I think 3 people asked me this weekend, hey, do you remember Poopgate? That's what this is called. So a while back around the holidays, I get a call from a really good friend who's freaking out, like hyperventilating. This friend is a straight male, and at the time, it was hoe season for him. Not every season's hoe season, but some seasons are. So he's dating multiple people. One being a girl from our high school. You know how you run into people and kind of reconnect and have that like, what's up with you? I think they hooked up once, and then he was like, it's hoe season, and she wasn't very happy about that. And likely, I don't think he handled it very well. I think he was like, you'll get over it, whatever. I'm not one to judge them. I've been on both sides of the scenario. We'll call her Stacy. So he calls me and is freaking out and is like, I think Stacy came into my house, into my bathroom, and shit in my shower. He starts laying out the details of how it was like perfectly displayed in the shower. Definitely not transported. Like, he doesn't think it's an animal. He thinks it's a human. He thinks it came in, was in his shower. I like to think I'm a level-headed friend. Like, people call me for advice, but I also trust no one. So I immediately was like, yeah, she probably shit in your shower. You know, this happens. People get their feelings hurt and then angrily squat in your shower. I don't know. We're analyzing text messages. We're considering her dog. It's like putting all these puzzle pieces together. And he feels all kinds of violated and immediately buys cameras for inside, outside, starts sleeping with a flashlight by his bed, and is like, she knows that I keep that door unlocked, and she knows that I'm here, and she is furious, and she's getting crazy enough to shit in my shower, which means who knows what's next. So he's walking around town shell-shocked, acting like he just got back from war. People are saying hi, and he's like, what? Sorry, someone just shit in my shower. Like, our mutual friends are running into him and hearing this story on repeat. I have people calling me like, did you hear Stacy shit in his shower? And me, I'm like, yeah, I guess. I don't know. You gotta be careful in these streets. I'm guilty of the same. I am telling everyone I know this story. Waiters are coming up to the table like, you ready to order? And I'm like, get this. Stacy shit in my friend's shower. A month and a half go by with no other incidents. And the upstairs apartment in this duplex situation had a plumber come to look at some issues. You see where I'm going. And that's when we learned, because of the house being on a hill and all this plumbing situation, sometimes the flushing from upstairs could end up in the shower downstairs. Which was a relief, but also, how many people did we tell that story to?
Breakups are hard, but breakups should not break you. You are not broken. Repeat after me. I am not broken. Get that person off the pedestal. Don't try to analyze yourself because of a person. But today's topic is kind of like that. But what is the pettiest thing that you've ever done to a person after they broke up with you? Depending on how they went about it. Like, they just broke up with you over text, or they just ghosted you, not saying anything, just vanished. There are people who are like at their wedding and the partner didn't show up. I mean, that's brutal. But let's talk about it. What is the pettiest thing that you have ever done after a breakup? In order to maybe get back at them. But breakups can be hard. It's heart-wrenching. You're going through grief. You're going through a lot. Let's talk about it.
I love this story so much because it wasn't even my relationship that broke down. But in early 2021, I helped someone who's very near and dear to me leave a terrible abusive situation in another state. And while we were getting things figured out for her, she came and lived with me for a little while. And one of the ways that she was able to leave is that she had financial freedom from a business that she ran mostly off of her phone. And she would get calls about this business day and night, so she just didn't turn her business line off. And her abuser, one of his favorite tactics was sleep deprivation. And so he would call her business line all day and night on different numbers, and she would block his number, his family's numbers and everything, but then he would go on Google Voice and get a new number and call her and call her and call her and call her, and then he would give her just enough time to maybe start falling asleep, and then he would start calling her again, new number, just berating her. And so I came out of my bedroom one morning and she was sitting on the couch and she was just sobbing from the sleep deprivation, from continuing to be abused. And she was just like, I can't turn my phone off. I don't know what to do. And so I was like, give me the phone, go take a shower, go wash your face, and go take a nap. And it was like perfect timing. As soon as she went into the bathroom, he called and I answered and I was like, it's me, bitch. And he was like, I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to her. I was like, nope, you're dealing with me today. And so he hung up. And I was like, he's not going to call back. And so then he did. Of course he did. And he was like, I want to talk to her. And I was like, you're not going to do that. And so he hung up again. And I decided, I was like, you're going to keep calling her. I'm going to call you. So I called him back to back to back to back to back to back to back. Unblocked his number because he got rid of his Google Voice number. So I unblocked his number on her phone and called back to back to back to back to back. Well, then he started sending it to voicemail. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to fill up his voicemail then. And knowing that he's technologically pretty illiterate. And so I started filling up his voicemail, but then I was like, I don't want to say anything too bad because I don't want this to come back and bite me legally. And so I was like, I'm just going to read him stuff off of the nutrition label from stuff in my cabinet. And so I was like, did you know that Campbell's chicken noodle soup has X amount of sodium in it, you dumb bitch? And then I would hang up and I would call back and I would leave another voicemail. And it never actually got full, but I know I left him 80-something voicemails. And she came back out of the bathroom like an hour later. She took her a nice little bubble bath. And she was just staring at me while I'm telling him how many grams of carbs are in this box of mac and cheese. And I hung up. And she's staring at me. And I was like, oh, well, I was just trying to fill up his voicemail because he won't know how to delete all of those voicemails without listening to them. And we just stared at each other and just started laughing because it was such a ridiculous situation. And I think that's probably one of my favorite things I've ever done in my entire life. And it was just so petty. It was so great.
Okay, so when I started college, I was dating this guy and we were living together. After my classes, I would come home to have dinner with him, and of course, I needed some attention. But instead, he was constantly watching TV, in particular this one reality TV show about dating, which was the most popular TV show in my part of Canada. So this guy, he was always organizing parties, and his ex was always there. She would be at his family events, and she would talk regularly to his mother. And she wouldn't talk to me, she would ignore me. One day he started learning photography and he got hired to be the official photographer for his ex's birthday. And when I saw the pictures, girl, I couldn't believe what type of photo shoot that was. There were girls kissing in a limousine, way too much skin. In PG terms, it was way too explicit. I found it very strange, so I confronted him about it, but he kept gaslighting me and telling me that they're just friends and I'm too jealous, and everyone around us would agree with him, so I felt like I was going crazy. Finally, after 1 year and a half, he suddenly broke up with me. I was feeling sad, heartbroken, and then guess what? I learned that right after he broke up with me, he went back to his ex. At that moment, I was watching TV, and like a sign from God, I saw an ad. It was a casting call for the reality TV show that he was so obsessed with. So I was like, why not? So I did the casting, and to my big surprise, out of 1,200 people, I was chosen to be one of the 6 girls in the show. Apparently, my ex was on lunch break at work when he found out in the newspapers about the new girls in the show. And he almost choked and stopped watching the show. And that's not all. 1 year later, I was invited to help at the casting for the new season. And guess who came to audition? My ex. He came to proudly say that he dated me and he should be on the show, when actually the production crew already heard about him from my profile. And he wasn't chosen. Yes, I was petty, but I was very young. Revenge for success used to motivate me so much. But please don't take this video as advice. Our stories, our past is meant to teach us lessons, to not make the same mistakes. Click on follow if you want to hear more stories.
I want to know what the pettiest thing you've ever done after a breakup is, because one time when me and my ex broke up, we were friends on the Uverse Bible app. So I went as far as to email the Bible app to make sure he was blocked and removed from the Bible app because I didn't want him to even see my notes, what I was reading, or anything like that. Like, you gotta go, even on the Bible app.
This was my early 20s. I mean, don't piss me off, but this was my early 20s, so sorry. So I was dating this guy, and he was like, hey, your lease is up, go ahead and move in, and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, I kind of had moved some stuff in, but I wasn't sure for sure. And he was like, oh, I have to go to Dallas. My ex-girlfriend they were together for a long time. My ex-girlfriend is like a drug addict. Her parents called, I gotta go. And I was like, all right, that's weird. And he was like, listen, I care about you so much. Stay in my house. I'll be back soon. 48 hours go by, don't hear from the guy. So I'm like, no, sir. And so he calls, and I'm like, where are you? I thought you were like saving her from drugs. And he was like, oh yeah, we came to Hooters. And I was like, you did what? You came to Hooters? I was like, are you joking? And he was like, no, I'll cry a little bit. I was like, okay. He calls, he's like, psst, hey, listen, she's gonna come back with me, so can you go ahead and move all your stuff out, and whenever she's gone, you can move it back in, but just be gone for the weekend. I'm sorry, what? I like legit was like, are you serious? And he was like, yeah. I was like, okay. Well, I may or may not have gotten all the chicken out and put it in different bowls and put tuna juice on top of it and let it rot underneath all of the beds in his house because he had a big house. And I took all the deer meat, like an entire freezer full. It fed like 3 families for like an entire year. Took it all. I took all his pork and I put it on top of this really expensive mats and opened it so that whenever it thawed, it just like freaking ruined all of them. Put bleach in his laundry detergent. Put all of his nice clothes into the attic. I was going to put them in this vent, but someone told me it catch fire. So I threw them into the fiberglass in the attic. And all the pictures that he had around the house that he still like just had face down, he hadn't done them yet, I like took them out and I ripped them in half. And I wrote notes all over everything. There was a note on his bed. We just won't say what it said. There was notes written on his mirrors in eyeliner. There's more. There's more. It's fine. Oh, I took all the toilet paper and paper towels out of the house. So whenever he got home, because he was like 30 minutes from his store, he couldn't go to the bathroom. Yeah. No. His sister came while I was doing all this, and she looked at me. She's like, I'll stay out of it. Keep going. Like, that's what a piece of shit he was. And I was like, all right, cool. Anyways, he calls me, and he's like, you're such a... Right? And I was like, oh, is she standing right there? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. She walks inside. He's like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I swear to God, whenever she leaves, just please move your stuff back in. I'm so sorry. I did not move my stuff back in. I think he still called me for like years. Until I changed my number. So, there's that.
I haven't made a video for a minute, but I have to tell this story, and I want to hear your stories, if you have them. I'm sure you do. So we were talking about petty things that we've done to our ex-boyfriends, and I honestly can say that this will go down in history as the funniest thing ever. So one of my boyfriends, it was way back in my 20s, he's a great guy. He's super nice. I don't think he's ever met somebody that he's not friends with. But I was so mad and so distraught and upset. So there's a place called the Pie Hole, and there was some space that was about eye level right by a table. So I put, hey, I'm always having pool parties in the summer. Here's my number. Hit me up if you want to have a good time. Oh yeah, I put his number, and he would get bombarded with texts from people. And it wasn't until like a couple years after that my cousin sent me a screenshot, because they were he pretty much was friends with all of my family. I was friends with his family. So she was friends with him. And he posted on Facebook, and he's like, I don't know who put my number on the Pie Hole wall, but I still get calls. 4 years after. Like, oh my gosh. What is the pettiest thing that you've done to an ex?
I took the damn Christmas tree. Yes, I did. Tied it to the top of my car, ornaments and all. I was riding down the highway, ornaments falling off. I felt like the Grinch. It was exhilarating. Ho, 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 you mother... I can't say that.
So I was dating this guy who broke up with me after like 2 months, and he was obsessed with taking baths in his jetted tub. So when I gave him the box of his stuff back, I also threw in a bath bomb that was full of glitter, and I took the label off so he couldn't read it. And he wasn't really happy, and he was texting me how upset he was to go to work covered in glitter, and I just responded to all of his text messages with pictures of Edward from Twilight. And then I covered his entire gravel driveway in a big thing of glitter, so that every time he walks in his house, he tracked glitter in. And then I also put his phone number into the eHealth website for health insurance quotes, and he probably got 200 phone calls. And I also decorated his house with happy birthday banners because he forgot to call me on my birthday. And now we're married and having a baby.
What are you thinking?
Yeah.
about what the pettiest thing I ever did in a breakup. Okay, so I was going to the Philippines with my then boyfriend.
Yeah.
I'd booked the tickets. I had all the ticket details.
Yep.
And then I found out that he cheated on me. Oh. So I called, obviously. We had a few chats about it. I didn't want him to come to the Philippines with me. I was like, I want to change the flight details and take my girlfriend. And he said no. He wouldn't let me change the tickets into my
That
girlfriend's
would have been so
name.
awkward
How
as well.
Also,
Yeah.
like, I'd paid for them. It was my holiday.
Yeah.
Anyway, I called up Cebu, the airline. I was like, how do I change the flight details? And they were like, look, you need to have a passport, photo of the passport, and a signed contract to
Okay.
say that it's fine to change his name.
Oh, no.
So I called up his housemate and I was like, hey, I've left some stuff at the house. Can you let me in? Because I don't want to speak to so-and-so. Can you let me in so I can come get my stuff? And he was like, yeah, so sorry what's happened. He lets me in.
Oh, my God.
I sneak into his room. I take a photo of his passport. I forged his signature.
Oh.
Me and my girlfriend rocked up at the airport and there he was.
No.
Not able to get on the flight.
So he was there too?
Yep.
Oh, my God.
And doesn't even know what I did.
Well,
Well, now, and do you know what? It's more than 10 years ago, so I'm sure there's some statutory limitations.
You
on
can't be fine.
Don't
No,
get-
no, you're fine.
I'm not
You're
going
fine.
to prison, everybody.
Oh my God, I thought I was petty. All I did was I knew a breakup was coming when I was with my partner, and then we had like a week on, week off petrol thing where I'd pay for one tank, they'd pay for another. And it was definitely their week, but I knew I was breaking up with them the next week. So I'm like, nah, it's definitely your week, babe.
That's real. Actually, maybe mine's not petty. Mine's criminal.
Yeah, I was going to say. They're very...
If we in a relationship and we've been around the world taking trips and shit, you taking all type of selfies and shit, after we break up, delete them motherfucking selfies. You're not about to be out here advertising the pictures that you took with me for the next nigga. Not at my expense. A nigga like your picture, I'ma comment where we were and what we were doing. Oh yeah, man, that picture, we was in Santa Monica, you know what I mean? That was right before we got in the hot tub.
What's the pettiest thing you've ever done? I'll go first.
Basically, a few years ago, this guy broke my heart, and it's gonna sound like a fan fiction. It's not a fan fiction, but he broke my heart, and we were paired together in music class, and I wrote a song about it, and he had to produce it and play it in front of the whole class. Petty as fuck. It's called Slow. My name's Danya. Look me up on Spotify, or just like follow the link to my profile and listen to it. That'd be pretty cool.
So I came up with more petty things to do. If they have hardwood floors or laminate floors, lemon juice everywhere. Real sticky. Carpet, you put down rice. If they read books, remove the bookmark. Switch all the breakers off. Take the battery out to their electric key for the car. Hide their favorite clothing items. If you have the time and energy, flip all the clothing items inside out. For all the accounts that they have, like anything Netflix, Hulu, whatever the hell, I would try and continuously to get them locked out of their account. So it'd just be really inconvenient next time they have to get into the account. Hide the toothbrush, hide the toothpaste. Makeup brushes, hide them all around each corner of the house. Hide the foundation. Now this is if you have access, but if you're already here, your partner probably doesn't trust you, but if you still have access, rename all their contacts. Hide the license under a toaster or something. Quadruple knot their shoelaces.